Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast today. One of the major goals of the Cleveland Metropolitan School District, interim CEO Peter Raskin is here to talk about that, to get the district financially stable. And he joins me this morning to talk about the district's budget. We'll talk with the interim CEO of Cleveland Schools. Then Lisa Davis will share with us the work she's doing with her Cleveland-based organization, Network for Neighborhood Success. And later on the broadcast, Marcus Sappho and Yvetta Ely of the Carter G. Woodson Project will talk about celebrating Black History Month in June. Good morning again. This is Kaleidoscope, and so we begin. Beginning with the interim CEO of the Cleveland Metropolitan School District, Peter Raskin. Mr. Raskin, good to have you with us.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're just the interim now, and I know you've been there for some months now, and it's winding down for you as you look for a new CEO permanent. But what's your priority for the Cleveland School District?
Well, my priorities as an interim CEO have been pretty carefully chosen, and first and foremost was to address a very challenging financial situation. The Cleveland schools, like every school district in the country, I think, is facing some real financial challenges, and it was very important to deal with them and confront them. I think that would have been true whether it was me as an interim CEO or someone else as a permanent CEO. So we've taken some very difficult, but I think very necessary steps to address that challenge. And we have. I mean, I think we've set the district on a course now where we feel that the budget will be balanced for the next 2 years, which gives us some time to, first of all, focus on educating kids, but also to continue the progress of the transformation plan that Dr. Sanders put in place.
You've had to send home hundreds of employees from the school district.
Yes.
This has got to be an emotional wound for you at the top of the school district. How do you deal with that and deal with that and with fewer dollars coming in?
Yeah. Well, it's always difficult to eliminate positions and to lay people off. We've also closed schools. We've taken other steps. All of these things are very hard and very emotional. I've had a fairly lengthy business career now. I've been through some things like this, but never taken them lightly and never quite gotten used to it. But I do feel strongly that it is important in any endeavor, including the school district, to confront reality, not as we wish it was, but to confront it as it really is.
Yes.
And I think we've done that.
You've got looking for a new CEO now. You're setting the stage for that, and you're probably ready to move on and do what you were doing before they called you in for this special job. How's it looking in the search for a new CEO?
Well, I think the search has gone well. We had a substantial candidate pool who expressed interest. At this point, as of today's taping, we're down to 3 finalists, all of whom seem to be well qualified with excellent credentials and excellent educational credentials in particular. So it does seem the process is on track. And the goal is to have a new leader on board by July 1st.
And to take over the reins, that you take over the stage as you leave the stage.
Indeed.
What got you into this job? I mean, you're the interim, you're a banker, and they called you in to be the interim CEO when Eugene Sanders stepped aside.
Yeah.
What was it that brought you here? Why did you say yes to this?
Well, it's a great question, and actually a pretty easy one for me to answer, which is it's not very often in life that someone calls up and says, gee, would you be interested in running a major school district for a period of time? I can't imagine anything that's more important to our city and to our community and region. I've made a lot of speeches around the dinner table to my kids about you can't just sit on the sidelines and comment. You got to get in and help. And, you know, here I was offered the opportunity to do it. I was in a position where I could. There was really no good reason to say no. And
you're really working for virtually no pay in this job.
I am. I'm doing this on a volunteer basis.
Doing this on a volunteer basis, which speaks to I think speaks to your heart and what it's all about.
Oh, thank you.
But let me ask you now. Let's make you king for the day, and you can fix the school systems in Cleveland, the state. What would you do?
Well, I think there's a number of things that would have to change. No single solution, no single silver bullet. I know that, I think, for a fact now. But I think a number of things that have to change with changing times. First, I think the relationship between the school district and its its employees, particularly the union employees, and in particular the teachers union. I think those relationships have served it well for many, many years, but times are changing, and those relationships are going to have to change, and I think they will. Secondly, yeah, I think the role of schools in our neighborhoods may have to change. School buildings just being schools and then closing up at 4 o'clock, I think there's a lot more we could do with schools and school buildings in terms of the role they play in a neighborhood, so-called wraparound services. I think schools can be and should be real pillars of neighborhoods, particularly challenged neighborhoods, and I think there's a ton we could do to improve the breadth of programming in a school and improve the neighborhoods in which they sit.
I've got about a minute remaining with you before we have to move on, but you would make that school the center point, as it used to be, I think, when I was going to school in the back with Abraham Lincoln in the dark ages. But you would make that school the center point of that neighborhood, as more than a school, but a community gathering place.
I think there's a ton of potential there. One of the things I learned about closing schools is it's very emotional. We could channel that emotion in a very positive direction to be the centerpiece and the pillar of a neighborhood. As you say, as it used to be, probably with a little different flavor, but as it used to be.
Are you optimistic about where we're going in the district? Will we turn this corner, and will we be more than okay in Cleveland schools?
I think we will be. I think we have to be. I don't think there's much choice. It'll take a lot of work and a lot of focused effort. No single solution. But really, what other choice do we have? We can't abandon these children and their families. They have to be educated. It's the American way.
What would you tell the parents in a few seconds? What would you tell the parents of their responsibility?
If you're not involved with your child in their school, please get involved to the extent that you can. Take the time. It's important to your child. It's important to the school. And know that there's people within the school district who are absolutely committed to the education of your child.
Peter Raskin, we appreciate you being with us. We wanted to have you back. Certainly, we would love to have you back, even after you leave the school system as the interim CEO, once a new CEO is, but as to have you reflect back on what you did during the many months that you were the CEO. Many thanks for being on the broadcast.
Thank you. It'd be my pleasure.
I wish you well with the Cleveland Metropolitan School District.
Thank you.
Peter Raskin, the interim CEO of the Cleveland Metropolitan School District, who's going to be stepping aside in July, is that?
That's the hope, yes.
That's the hope. That's the plan. Okay. Thank you, Peter. Log on to Newsnet5.com each week to see what's coming up on Kaleidoscope. Coming up next, how one local neighborhood organization is making a difference. I'm Leon Bibb. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Lisa Davis established the Network for Neighborhood Success for trained residents to become progressive leaders in their communities. Lisa is here along with Joy Green, and they're going to talk more about their efforts with the organization Network for Neighborhood Success. Lisa Davis next to me, and Joy Green, who is a leadership coach, next to her. Let's begin with you, Lisa. What is Network for Neighborhood Success?
Well, Network for Neighborhood Success is an organization. We have a 501c3, and we help residents learn how to be leaders for themselves, their community, and their family.
Where about do you work? What neighborhood are you primarily in?
We're primarily in the Buckeye area, the Buckeye Shaker in Kinsman, Mount Pleasant area. And we been in existence for 6 years.
So you try to get more folks to take leadership roles in the neighborhood, is that?
Yes, our whole objective is to help the residents become the be successful at whatever they're doing. If it's trying to create a job, if it's trying to go to college, whatever vision that they have, how could we as a community, as well as a parent or a youth, be able to create that avenue for that to happen.
And we should say that the Buckeye neighborhood is on the southeast side of Cleveland.
Yes, it is.
Been there for many, many years, and a lot of great folks have come out of the Buckeye neighborhood. You brought with you also Joy Green, who's a leadership coach at the age of 17. What's that mean, Joy Green, to be a leadership coach?
It means a lot to me. It's, this program has helped me a lot. And I am currently a senior. I skipped a grade in high school.
Yeah.
because of this program, Ms. Davis has helped me get a summer job. And my summer job, I worked at Cleveland Botanical Garden, and they asked me to come back a consecutive year because of my hard work at their job.
Now, do you coach other young people into how to achieve the leadership status that you've achieved?
Yes, I've helped. You have to recruit somebody else to be in our program, and I recruited 2 of my friends and also helped them get a summer job this summer.
So what's your role now? What's your goal for the Network for Neighborhood Success? What do you want people to do? And by the way, you can reach Lisa Davis by dialing 925-2003. 925-2003. You can reach the Network for Neighborhood Success. What's your goal? What do you want to happen?
Well, one of the things that I really want to happen is I want us to be able to network and creating an avenue for youth to succeed in life. Network with Joy Green is going to in sports medicine. So be able to network with a lot of people in the sports arena.
So if we work with the young people, get them started and on the track to leadership, doing the right thing, those kinds of things. You brought with you a T-shirt that they brought for me here, and of course
the youth came up with this. One of the things.
You tell me what this means now.
Okay, it's to say, is Kevin worthy of being saved? And one of the reasons the youth came up with this because they have to come up with some type of event. In order to be a leader, you have to come up with an event in a community. So they came up with, is Kevin worthy of being saved?
Now, who's Kevin?
Kevin symbolized a young man or woman in the community who has to make a choice between, in an urban community, make a choice between selling drugs, being in a gang, or being in a nonprofit organization who will help him make right choices. And so Kevin, the youth, said a lot of what they see in our community is once a young man get killed or die, it's just like the community, everybody supports that. So they wanted to say, okay, start supporting us who want to succeed in life and who wants to make the right choices.
Now, Joy, that's what you do. You work with young people, getting them to make the right choices, the kinds of choices that you have made to stay in school and go on to further education.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I have helped tutor students as far as math specifically because that's my strong point. And I have every Saturday I come with Ms. Davis and we help our students in our community. We just do community service.
Where do you meet when you do this, Lisa Davis? Where do you meet?
We meet at the Harvey Rice Library. It's 11535 Shaker Boulevard.
At the corner of Visa 116th and Shaker Boulevard.
Yes.
So is this open to anybody who would like to come?
Well, it's what we do is they have to fill out an application to get in the program, but we also invite leaders in the community to come in and help the youth see that they can succeed, and this is the process that they went through.
Can they call you to get these applications?
Yes,
if they make a phone call to 925-2003 or go to nwfns.org. nwfns.org, Network for Neighborhood Success.org, and they can get more information.
Yes.
nwfns.org.
Yes.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank
you for being on the broadcast.
Thank you
too,
so
Joy,
much.
and we wish you well. You have a lot of poise, 17 years old and already a leader, but leadership begins early, doesn't it, Joy?
Yes.
We're proud of you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Proud of you too, Lisa Davis.
Thank you for having us here.
Success in the Buckeye neighborhood. I'm going to take a break. We'll be right back. This is Kaleidoscope. Back shortly. You're in touch with Kaleidoscope. Good to have you with us today. Representatives of the Carter G. Woodson Project are planning a celebration of Black history this June. Marcus Sappho and Yvetta Ely are here to talk more about this event and the effort that's being made right here in Cleveland. Yvetta Ely, I'm sorry, Yvetta Ely and Marcus Sappho, good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Let's start with you, Mr. Sappho. You're Vice President of the Carter G. Woodson Project. What is the Carter G. Woodson Project?
Carter G. Woodson Project is a group of individuals individuals that got together and said, hey, we're going to do something about Black History Month being punished in February. And I said that because a lot of programs are canceled or whatever because of the bad weather. And, you know, the people can't come out. No, Black people were people of color. We can't wear our colors, and you can't socialize with the older folks, you know. So the young don't get a chance to really meet and deal with the old and hear the stories and things that they would if you did it during a warmer time of the year.
In this part of the country, February is
a
tough month.
Yes.
In Cleveland.
We've come through this tough month, and we're hanging in spring as we tape this right now. Yuvita, who was Carter G. Woodson?
He was a historian, an educator, a journalist, and he had a great love for his people and wanted to educate, and was very conscious of our story and putting our story out there.
Is he called the father of Black History Month?
Absolutely. It started with a week, and then it was expanded to a month.
Now, what would you do if you can move this to June? Now, you would like a national movement.
Oh, absolutely, right? Absolutely. And things are picking up in other cities because they've heard about some of the things that we're doing. We're doing a whole month-long series of activities, from workshops to parades. We have Drumming Under the Stars. A number of other activities happen in June. Juneteenth is in June, which celebrates our freedom. And we're having a big celebration at Caramoo Theater for Juneteenth.
So you've got a lot of things going on.
We've got a lot of stuff going on.
Marcus, why is it so important to celebrate this aspect of history, Black History Month? Why do you see it as important?
Well, first of all, black is overused. Black is a color to describe what you look like. And so if you want to know about a people, you have to go and search their origin, and our origin takes us to Africa. So by moving to June and calling it what it is, it's African history, because African history is the history of the world. Black history, you know, when you talk about Black history, it just pops up. But when you talk about the origin of something, then you have to give it a name. Oh, and the name is Africa. It's a people.
So you're talking about the African people who are on this continent, and the African people who are on other continents, the African continent.
Yes. Throughout the diaspora,
kind of
absolutely.
Yeah. Who do you see as attending this now?
Anyone. This is open to anyone that want to attend. It's an African History Month celebration, and of course, when you say Africa, you think of people with dark skin, dark complexion, and those are the ones that originally and will first come and join us, but it's open to anyone.
I want to put a phone number on the screen where you can get more information, 518-9493 in the 216 area code, or you can go to 360info.biz, 360info.biz. As you see on the bottom of the screen, you can get more information on everything we've been talking about. Why do you see this as vital? I mean, and how far along are you to getting everything moved to June?
For us, we've got a lot of things going on in June. It's not to negate February, because we think that African history is 365. So, but in June we can come out and enjoy each other. I think it's important because our children need to know. Our children need to know who we are, where you come from, what your culture is all about, and to celebrate that in all of its glory. And when you're freezing in February, people don't really want to come out. I can't even think of 3 events that we've had this past Black History Month because things get canceled. And
you would like to be able to have events in an outdoor venue as well, where there could be dancing and drumming and all of that.
We'd like to do all of that, yes.
Yeah. Marcus, will African History Sankofa, as you call it, will that become an annual event here in Cleveland?
Yes.
Talk about that.
We starting this and hoping to continue it, and even after we're done, we hope that someone else pick up and continue it. And that's why it's important to bring the young out with the old. That's why we need to do it in June during the time when the weather would permit the young to be around the old so they can learn to respect. You know, we got a problem in our black communities, you know, so
what do you want the community to do? What do you want other organizations and individuals to do? Can they join forces with you?
Absolutely.
You're asking them to make contact with you.
Absolutely. A lot of the Latino communities are coming out to join. The Native American community is coming out. It's for all people to celebrate.
We'll put a phone number on the screen and they can call you.
Absolutely.
And you can link up and make those linkages. Yes. 216-518-9493, or you can go to 360info.biz, 360info.biz. Get more information on everything we've been talking about.
Yes.
We'll have to have you back once everything gets situated in June.
Thank you.
That would be wonderful. Okay. Thank you very much. Marcus Sappho, Vice President, and Uvita Ely, who's Program Coordinator for both of them for the Carter G. Woodson Project. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back after these words. Especially. Here now with a commentary, your friend and mine, Marsha Maccabee, CEO of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland.
Hi, Leon. How are you?
I'm okay.
Good. Well, we have just a few minutes here at the end of the broadcast today. I'm just thinking about how far we've come at the Urban League over these last months, and I really owe a lot of that to the fine staff that we have at the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. We have a team of what I call a number of servant leaders who are very focused on the mission of the Urban League and who are very, very dedicated to making sure that they serve the people of this community to every extent that they can. And so I'm very grateful.
Nice. So you're giving them a kind of a shout out and giving them some applause and, some props.
Absolutely.
Well, they give you the same thing, Marsha.
Yes.
They give you the same thing. I know it has been a struggle for the Urban League over the last several years or so, but you have turned the corner under your leadership, and the Urban League should be very proud of how you've taken the leadership reins of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland and really run the ball very well.
Thank you, Leon. And it's a challenge every day, but despite the challenges, we're fully committed, and we intend to see it through.
Refresh my memory on how long the Urban League of Greater Cleveland has been with us.
The Urban League of Greater Cleveland is in its 94th year, and we're looking forward to a 95-year celebration next year.
Knocking on the door of 100 years, so you must be doing something right. You don't hang around that long unless you are doing something right.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I believe that this community now, even more than ever, with the economic downturn and all the societal challenges, needs this Urban League even more than ever.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's going to do it. Be well.
Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.